Archaeologists have uncovered writings so detailed, they read like a modern pilot's manual. But here's the twist. These records are over 5,000 years old. They describe flying machines, multi-deck aerial palaces, weapons that sound disturbingly like advanced technology. Could these ancient texts really be describing aircraft long before the Wright brothers ever left the ground? Or are we staring at the echoes of a forgotten science? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see diagrams and stories that may change everything you thought you knew about human history. The Mahabharata and Ramayana are two of the world's oldest and longest epic stories. Written thousands of years ago, they describe massive wars, godlike heroes, and something even stranger, machines and weapons that sound far too advanced for their time. The Mahabharata alone is over 10 times longer than the Bible, a staggering collection of history, myth, and wisdom. But hidden within its verses are passages that don't read like poetry. They read like science. These texts speak of flying chariots called Vimanas. They weren't just mythic symbols. They're described in detail, multi-level, with windows, engines, and weapons. The Ramayana tells of sky battles, where these machines rained fire, lightning, and destruction. To modern readers, it sounds eerily like descriptions of aerial warfare. So were these stories pure myth? Or could they be memories of a forgotten science? Next, we'll compare these descriptions with what modern physics has to say. The ancient texts don't just mention flying machines in passing. They describe them in astonishing detail. Vimanas are said to be multi-deck flying palaces, fitted with windows and chambers for passengers. They could move forward, backward, up, down, even sideways, free from the limits of gravity. Some verses describe their engines as running on mysterious metals, and even liquid mercury spinning in chambers to generate thrust. To modern readers, these details sound less like myth, and more like an ancient technical manual. Schematics for a technology that should not have existed thousands of years ago. Could these be the blueprints of lost machines, or the imaginative stories of poets? Let's look closer. When aerospace scientists read the ancient descriptions of Vimanas, many dismissed them as poetry. But others see something more, details that line up uncannily with the principles of modern flight. The texts describe crafts that could rise vertically, hover in place, and change direction instantly. That's not just imagination. It's the very definition of anti-gravity propulsion. Some verses mention engines powered by rotating chambers filled with liquid mercury. Modern engineers have studied mercury plasma propulsion for spacecraft, concepts almost identical to what's described in these texts thousands of years ago. And the Vimana's ability to move in any direction without wings or propellers. It challenges the very limits of aerodynamics as we know them. Skeptics call it coincidence. But for others, it's proof that ancient knowledge of advanced propulsion may have once existed, and then vanished. Not everyone agrees on what these texts mean. Historians argue the Vimanas are metaphors, poetic symbols for divine power. To them, descriptions of flying palaces are no more literal than gods riding chariots across the sky. But engineers and alternative researchers see something different. To them, the level of detail, multi-deck designs, engines, even propulsion systems, sounds less like poetry and more like eyewitness testimony. One side insists, mythology, not technology. The other side replies, blueprints, not metaphors. The truth may lie somewhere in between, but the debate continues, fierce and unresolved. India is covered with ancient temples, ruins, and artifacts, many of them thousands of years old. Among these sites are mysteries that challenge easy explanation. Across remote regions, massive stone platforms stretch for hundreds of feet, flat, level, and without carvings. They serve no obvious religious purpose, yet to some, they look eerily like landing strips. On temple walls, We find carvings that appear to show machines, objects with fins, domes, and flames etched into stone. Are these symbolic or records of something witnessed long ago? And then there are the alloys, ancient metals that refuse to rust, even after 1,000 years in the open air. Metallurgists admit, we don't fully understand how they were made. Skeptics say coincidence or misinterpretation. But the open question remains, are these the echoes of lost technology, carved and built into the very stones of India? We began with legends. We searched through epics, carvings, and ruins. Now, here is the moment of truth. Hidden in the verses are diagrams and passages that read like technical manuals. They describe engines, flight controls, even the dimensions of flying craft. Scholars may call them poetry, but when reconstructed, they look startlingly like blueprints. Multi-deck flying palaces hovering on beams of light, rotating Mercury engines sketched out in verse, machines that should not exist in the ancient world, yet there they are, etched in ink and stone. For believers, this is proof of a forgotten technology. For skeptics, coincidence. But for all of us, these diagrams raise the same haunting question. What if our ancestors knew more than we think? We've explored stories that sound like science, carvings that resemble machines, and diagrams that read like blueprints. So what does it all mean? Could human technology be far older than we imagine? If so, how much knowledge have we lost? Knowledge that might have changed the course of history? And if civilizations thousands of years ago understood flight, propulsion, and metals we still struggle to replicate, what could rediscovering that wisdom mean for us today? As humanity reaches for the stars once again, building rockets, dreaming of Mars, and searching for new worlds, perhaps we are not inventing the future, but remembering the past. So what do you think? Were these flying machines pure myth, misunderstood poetry, or evidence of real ancient engineering? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because this debate is far from over. And if you thought flying machines were strange, wait until you hear about the next mystery. In our next episode, we'll uncover a 4,000-year-old weapon described with terrifying detail, a weapon that sounds shockingly like a nuclear bomb. Don't miss it.